Is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
I was just going to say, don't hit that button. um, okay, I want to thank everybody for joining us for today's session entitled Digitalizing Your Lab Processes with SciNote, presented by SciNote and brought to you, of course, by Asterix. We can go to the next slide, please. So before we get into today's presentation, I do want to take a moment and tell you a little bit about Asterix. If you haven't had an opportunity to be a part of any of our webinars to date, we have, for the better part of the last, I'd say about 18 months or so, have been working closely with thought leaders throughout the lab informatics and laboratory technology space, bringing their thoughts together on their products and their direction, where they believe the lab of the future is going, the overall digitization of the lab. So we're thrilled to have a great company and speaker with us today. But before we do that, just, why is Asterix doing this? Why do we do this? For the better part of 25 years, we've been involved in highly specialized services, processes, and technology that's enabled us to be a leading partner that transforms the way that science-based businesses succeed. We are a consulting firm that works very closely with organizations in the life science sector. Some fast facts about the company: we were established in 1995. We work with a wide array of partners throughout the industry, vendor and platform agnostic, folks like, of course, the speaker for today, which is SciNote. We have locations in the United States and overseas and have over 1,200 employees. Of that, 90% of the team members that are in the Asterix family hold advanced science degrees. So we are a science-based organization. Our headquarters are in beautiful Red Bank, New Jersey. The clients that we help, everything from startups to Fortune 1000, life science enterprises, chemical and CPG companies, through government agencies and research institutions. We can go to the next slide, please. And I'll tell you a little bit about these services real quick, and then I'll introduce you to our speaker. As far as the services that Asterix provides, we like to say that we support the continuum of scientific operations and data management. This involves the early stages of helping companies really understand where they're going as an organization. That could be through strategic innovation and roadmaps, helping them select the right enterprise architecture of what will support their technology backbone and stack going forward, helping them understand data management and governance. These are the strategies and the methods and the frameworks that bring together intelligent insights around your digital assets. Business analysis: these are the people, processes, and technology, and making sure that these are optimized. Solution selection services: these are, the kind of the traditional things that a lot of services companies will do, is we'll help you pick the right technologies that will meet or map to all the 4 prior services. We can help with development, implementation, and validation of these technologies. And then finally, after the fact, the unique piece of Asterix is we have an entire scientific staffing and regular staffing division that can staff both scientific personnel as well as technical personnel to help you not only manage the technology, but to help grow your lab or grow your R&D practice. With that, I want to take a moment and now introduce our speaker for today. So Klemen Zupančič has a PhD in biomedicine. He is the CEO of SciNote, which is a company behind a top-rated electronic lab notebook platform for laboratories on their way to digital transformation, and a co-founder of Biosystemica, which is a life science company that was involved in software development. Alongside his business career, he's been focused on developing methods for diagnosing and treating cancer. So we are thrilled to have you, Klemen. I'm going to actually turn it over to you and let you pick up the presentation from here, and I'll come back on at the end and help out with some questions.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much. Just to briefly show my face and to welcome everybody from Slovenia. Okay, so I want to start today by a little bit storytelling from how SciNote came to be and kind of what drove us or still driving us to develop software that we are developing. I want to start off by the words of Herbert Spencer, who is a known philosopher who also coined the term survival of the fittest. And it's kind of like this, the sentence kind of describes where we found ourselves in our service to science, let's say. So science is organized knowledge. And as was mentioned, I had my career, or my brief career in science, managed to show me, and actually a couple of other co-founders of the company, that science is not organized, that knowledge that we create, and we create more and more knowledge every day with increasing amount of experiments that are being done. This knowledge is not organized really well. And one of the central points where we saw how much knowledge can be wasted just because it's not connected to, let's say, the broader sense of science was paper notebooks. And this is kind of where SciNote kicked off. We saw, let's say, the messy data that scientists were producing, how this data was not connected with every other data, how, let's say, we are still limited with PDFs to transform and transport the data, let's say, from one scientist to another. This kind of kicked off the SciNote as a project, SciNote as a company back in 2015. So this is the first team. Many of people on this screen that you see are scientists. We met at the bench essentially, and we kind of brainstormed what we thought was the future the future of record keeping in life sciences. Essentially, we actually published a scientific paper about this in a journal of cheminformatics together with the University of Southampton. And that research was kind of the basis. That research was done 2014 and 15. Was kind of the basis to start SciNote as a company. Our mission was basically built on two pillars. On one hand, we wanted to make scientists more efficient. So basically, we continue to ask ourselves, what can we provide scientists that they could extract more science and more knowledge from, a dollar spent on scientific research. So that was kind of the first pillar, like making more science out of the resources that we are spending on it. And the second was to really preserve the data for, to be built upon, because we know that a lot of data can be lost simply because it's kept in some folder somewhere on some server that whoever put it there already changed 3 job positions since. So we want to systematically preserve and store this data as well. We wanted to build something because we were scientists, so we wanted to build a product that also reflects these values. We brainstormed what our core values were, and they actually by chance spell out core as an acronym as well. But nonetheless, I believe they represent our team really well. One thing, and I'll get back to this, is care. We really care about our mission. So we care about our mission, we care about science. We feel very responsible to be to provide good tools that ultimately add value. We care about our customers. We care that they are using the software the way it should be, that they are satisfied with the software. So this care is at the heart of how we do things. Openness and transparency is a big value for us. That's why also our software is open source. We communicate very openly internally within the company. We are a remote-first company, so we have people all around the world. And this openness, inclusivity, transparency really brings us together, even though we are maybe geographically apart. And also, whenever we do make mistakes, we openly communicate about them. We're very transparent with our customers. As I mentioned, we feel not only that we care about our mission, we feel responsible. We feel that we need to be part of the solution. We feel great responsibility for the data that we are carrying. We know that the data that scientists today are creating, this data to be effectively available in the future is at the core of solving all the world challenges that rely heavily on science. So we are compliant with more and more regulators. We also plan to do the ISO compliance in the near future. So we want to make sure that customers also understand that it's not just a service for them, but it has a bigger picture why we do things what we do. And lastly, like exploration. So we are curious. We like to think out of the box. We like to explore, find partners, be part of the solution, as I said before. Be bold, and yeah, I guess that's why we are in over 100 countries present with almost 100,000 users worldwide. So maybe just some introduction of how we came to be and how we are where we are. So a little bit about the product now, and we'll kind of like circle back to where how we see the future. So maybe just to take this dashboard screen to walk you kind of through the basics or the main components of SciNote as a software. So when you enter the software, you see this kind of dashboard. So SciNote has this project management component built into it. So you have some calendar view, you see which current tasks are there. If there's somebody who needs your signature. So easy to navigate and kind of like a personal view of everything that needs your attention immediately. And then there are the four main kind of like components of SciNote. One is projects. This is where most of the data is kept. So all the experiment data, workflows, how things were done, what the results were. So this is all organized in projects. The second, that's the ELN part, if you will, so the electronic lab notebook part. Then there are inventories. You'll see it. Wait, let me move to this slide. So this is how inventories look like. So you can have a bunch of inventories, and each inventory can have, and this can be very much customized. And each inventory can have any number of items that are barcoded, their location is organized. But this can be reagents, plasmids, samples, even literature, files, and so on. So inventory has a very broad definition. And last, one of the last pillars is protocols. So this is basically a protocols repository where you have all the methods of the lab versions, and they can be used then within the projects and experiments. And lastly, the reports. Basically, because data is nicely organized in SciNote, you can create reports very quickly and save a lot of time. This is one of the, when we interview our customers, one of the bigger time savers of the software is this automated protocol generation. Saves about 1/3 of scientific time that is spent on generating protocols. So maybe one thing to mention, SciNote is also a very, so you saw that it's very, the four pillars are very straightforward. It's not a complex software, and it's a very flexible software. So it can support, let's say, non-linear workflows. So basically, no matter how complicated your workflow and your processes are in the lab, SciNote can find a way to support this. And this brings me to maybe just a reminder, if you want to learn more about the SciNote functionalities, there is a PDF attached to this. I believe you should have it in the handout section on your right. So you can download the PDF and see more details. But essentially, what this brings me is kind of like the second thing that you get when you buy SciNote. This is that we are your partner on this journey. Like we saw many times that digitalization can be everybody can agree that introducing digital tools to labs is a good idea, but when the project of changing habits and going digital, especially if the lab is paper-based, we saw that it's oftentimes, let's say, can be a very rocky road to get there. And this is where we really stand out with our top-rated customer success team. So we put a lot of effort in making sure that your workflows are put in the software in the best way possible. Our customer success team consists of people with life science background, so they can speak your language essentially, can help you, can understand your work, your use cases. They have seen many use cases, and they can recommend and guide you to the best practices on how to do this quality to SciNote. We have extensive experience in, especially with team members that are more reluctant to change. How to train them, how to make them see benefits for their work and for their day-to-day by transitioning to SciNote. So, in other words, as I mentioned at the beginning, that the SciNote was a company built by scientists who feel that you being successful, more successful doing your science is our contribution to science. So this is how we want to contribute. So we work with many different customer sectors, from industry, academia, government organizations. We work from companies all over the world, primarily in the US, but also, as you saw, over 100 countries around the world. And regardless of how big the customer and where they're coming from, we never measure how much time we spend supporting you. We always support. Whenever you need us, we'll be there. Maybe we can't solve all your problems, but we will definitely be there to talk to you and see if we can help you. So our team has grown quite significantly. This was taken just now in May, when we had all the team members. It was a very pleasant experience. A lot of great ideas and talks about the future. So maybe just on that to spend a few words. We've spent, let's say, the last year, or let's say during COVID and pandemic, we spent a lot of time and effort making sure that the company is stable. We have many bigger accounts in the company now, so we are supporting FDA, NIH, and some other big names in the industry. So we take this, we take great responsibility with serving these customers. So we wanted to make sure that the company was stable, both financially and as a corporate structure. But we had some very nice results in the past 2 years as well. So we are happy to announce that we'll be doing a lot of product upgrades, new features, new integrations with other partners in the market going forward, and really making sure that your experience using the software is best in class. So if you find SciNote interesting, if this is something you want to give a try, maybe just a few steps how you can start working with us, or how, let's say, the process of getting you on board works. First step is a meeting about your requirements to kind of see what kind of SciNote plan fits your needs, and to discuss the pricing. Then we start you with the free trial, which is basically has all the features that were discussed in the step 1. And then based on that, we find together an offer that suits your lab, how how long do you want to have the commitment, what kind of business model is suitable for you, and we send you the quote. And once the quote is accepted, the contracts are signed. We first the core team that is kind of like the pioneers of digital technology in the team. We have more in-depth training of SciNote so that they understand the capabilities, and then you have dedicated specialized trainings for the rest of the team based on their positions, their expertise, their use cases and workflows. And then we have regularly check up with the core team members to make sure that the software is being used, that the features that the team needs are there, and we basically track to see. We have a system of red flags to see which customer is maybe not using the software as much as would be expected. So we make sure that everybody is aware of all the options and the current situation. So, so yeah, that's pretty much SciNote. So I would like to thank you for your attention, and yeah, we have some time for questions.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Thank you, Clement, for a great presentation and some great insight into a very compelling product for sure. And yeah, we do have a couple questions on the floor. Again, for those of you who might have joined after, I'm going to go ahead and get the recording stopped.